Welcome back to Normal Baseball. The Twins have traded last year's batting champion. Ronald Acuna Jr. is making some controversy in the Venezuelan Winter Baseball League. And Hall of Fame voting is still flawed. Let's talk about it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And today we got some baseball for you, as always.
Per usual, baseball.
Because what else will we do on a channel called Normal Baseball? It's been a fun week. We're getting closer and closer to a couple things. We're getting closer to spring training, which I believe it's exactly a month till pitchers and catchers report, or pretty much exactly a month.
29 days, baby.
29 days, a month. We have just a few weeks until the World Baseball Classic starts, which is exciting. We'll be seeing more episodes about that, about some of the lineups, because there are a few powerhouse teams in that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Stuff's going on. We're getting closer to the season. Very exciting.
Yes, we are.
What is the first? Do you want to talk about anything, Lewis? Doesn't have to be baseball, really. I mean, do you want to tell the viewers anything?
Baseball season's right around the corner. The weather, the days are getting a little bit longer. The weather is getting a little bit better every single day. Let's lock the fuck in. Let's get to spring training.
The weather better. It's poured rain the last 3 days.
40 degrees. If it were freezing, there would be snow.
That's true. I can't argue that. All right. Well, let's just get right into it then.
Let's jump.
Let's start with what's hot. The Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Yesterday, or 2 days ago now, it was announced that Scott Rolen is now going to be in the Hall of Fame. He was voted in. He got 76.3% of the votes. Let's give a round of applause for Hall of Famer Scott Rolen. Good for him. He now joins Fred McGriff in this year's Hall of Fame. Class of 2023. Fred McGriff was voted in the contemporary ballot last year for this year, and good for both of them. McGriff, we've talked about that after. He deserves it. Rolen, we talked about it on the episode. I do think he deserved it. I think it's a little weird. I think he mainly got in for defensive reasons. He did have very good offensive numbers. Don't get it twisted. But I think he did get in largely for defense. What do you think?
Yes, he did. His offense, as Alex just mentioned, not the best. However, I do think that he passes some sort of eye test, some sort of proof, basically, that this guy, I mean, you watch his highlights at the hot corner at third base, he was next level. There's no other way to put it. So seeing him make the Hall of Fame is good because it sets a new precedent, a new standard for voters going forward, that you don't need to bat 300 plus and have all these acolytes of hitting this amount of home runs, this amount of RBIs, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can be great at both without being otherworldly and still make the Hall of Fame, which I think is good.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting to me. I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's cool. It still kind of amazes me that he was the only one to get voted in, because when you look at this ballot as a voter, or as an outsider rather, not as a voter, you can't help but think, hey, Andrew Jones, Hall of Famer, best defensive center fielder of all time. So if we're going by defense, not only was he one of the best offensive players for 10 years, he was the
gold standard.
Best. Yes, he was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, defensive center fielder of all time. So, Andrew Jones, he did jump 17% this year, so hopefully that's looking good for him. Maybe he will get inducted eventually in the next couple of years. Billy Wagner also made a little bit of a jump. He's at 68.1%. Obviously, you need 75 to get in. And then the next closest behind Rolen was Todd Helton, who came just short, 72.2%. Is it safe to say Helton's getting in next year?
I would hope so.
I think it's safe to say.
I think it's a little unfair that he didn't even get in this time, honestly.
Well,
he
yeah.
should have been in.
Right. You look at these guys. You have, like we said, one of the most underrated first basemen of all time. One of the best left-handed relievers of all time in Billy Wagner. Andrew Jones, who we just said, one of the best defensive center fielders of all time, had one of the best 10-year stretches of all time. Gary Sheffield, who was a dog. You got Carlos Beltran, who one of the greatest switch hitters of all time. I know his after playing or towards the end of his playing career, he had the whole thing with cheating scandal. But when you look at him as a player, one of the best switch hitters of all time. A-Rod, one of the guys of all time.
One of the best right-handed hitters of all time.
So there's a lot of guys on this ballot who could have eventually made the Hall of Fame. Obviously not this year, but could be years to come. And I think there are a lot more guys on this ballot who deserve to be in.
Agreed. Very much agreed.
Anything to add to that?
No, I just agree with you on everything. I mean, the Hall of Fame, I think, needs to be... First off, anybody who has blank ballots, who sends in blank ballots, should be exterminated from voting. That's for one. Two, I definitely think that people need to stop treating it as if it's the most exclusive thing in the world, and like no one deserves it unless you're the very, 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 very best. It's BS. I mean, Scott Rolen should have been in a long time ago. Todd Helton should be in. Alex Rodriguez should have been a first ballot along with his starter in was it Big Papi was on his? Him and Big Papi were on the ballot together, I think. But I mean, there are just so many players.
Yeah, Big Papi was last year. Yeah.
Him and Big Papi deserve it more than anything. It's just, it's not right. I think that there needs to be some serious thought of what's going on there with the Hall of Fame ballots.
I agree. Voters need to wake up. But yeah, no, looking more into Scott Rolen, I mean, he was one of those guys where, from what I've heard, I mean, I wasn't the biggest, like, I was when he retired in 2012, I was 8 years old, so I wasn't, like, the most involved in baseball, MLB at that point. But from what I've heard, he wasn't, like, one of those players that you looked at and were like, yeah, that guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Like, he wasn't one of those types of players. So just to see him get voted in after the last few years, kind of making big jumps and then getting more kind of momentum behind himself, I mean, it's good for him. It's good for him.
Agreed.
But there are other guys that also did deserve it, in my opinion, just as much, if not, dare I say, more. Yeah. Scott, he was never like the best guy on his team, I'd argue. He had Pujols on his team for a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. In Cincinnati, I don't even know. I just know on the Cardinals he had Pujols. From what I've heard, he was never he was never this guy's a Hall of Famer.
He was never like when you see it, but now that like you can go back and look at his career from this different lens of being obviously in the future, I think it kind of makes sense as to why he is a Hall of Famer, especially when you watch him, like when you watch the games now. It just makes sense.
No, I agree. He certainly did deserve it, and it's very good for him.
Yes.
So one more round of applause for Scott Rolen. Falling off the ballot this year, obviously, some people stay on, but if you get less than 5% of the vote, you go off. And everyone who fell off the ballot this year actually got less than 1% of the vote. Mm-hmm. They either got 1 vote or 0 votes. The ones who have 1 vote: Bronson Arroyo, R.A. Dickey, John Lackey, Mike Napoli, and Houston Street. All had 1 vote, fell off the ballot. And then with 0 votes falling off the ballot, Matt Cain, Andre Ethier, J.J. Hardy, Johnny Peralta, Jared Weaver, and Jason Worth. Oh, and Jacoby Ellsbury. All those guys fell off the ballot, so they will no longer be on the ballot. They won't be on next year or anything, which, looking at all these names, makes sense, and I'm kind of fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. That's all I have to say. Your guy, Jimmy Rollins, 12.9%.
Should be a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, maybe in the next few years. So, we'll see. But overall, I mean, Hall of Fame voting is flawed. And we've said, what can they do to make it better? I mean, I know you said take votes away from people who don't cast votes.
Yeah. Definitely taking ballots away. I also think that everybody who fills out a ballot should have to make their ballot public, or else their vote will not count, which then means that there could be a lower percentage required, a lower total amount of votes needed to get into the Hall of Fame, which would incentivize all these old heads who, like, really, I don't want to vote for anybody and I'm going to be really quiet about it. Oh, I'm going to be that one guy who, like, doesn't vote for Derek Jeter. Oh, I'm going to be the one guy who didn't vote for Todd Helton. I want to be that guy, but I don't want anyone to know. Like, it will incentivize them to pass ballots on, and I think no one should be able to vote more than 3 years in a row until it rotates, and then they at least need 1 year off because, they're going back to mostly the same baseball minds every single time. And it's like they're not going to change unless something comes out or something is said or something miraculous happens that they're going to change their vote. And you don't see it too often, which is exactly why, you should see ballots moved around and given to new people almost every year.
I like it. I like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good idea. The rotation kind of sounds cool.
And it would be a staggered rotation.
Yeah, I don't really know how it would work exactly. I mean, maybe. I don't think they're going to change it anytime soon.
No, they're not.
They're not. They're not. It's MLB.
Until people under the age of 70 stop running the committee and everything like that, I don't think we'll see anything change, which is upsetting.
It is upsetting, but, I mean, for now, we get Scott Rolen in the Hall of Fame, Fred McGriff, obviously, too, and we can look forward to Todd Helton, maybe Billy Wagner. Carlos Beltran will probably get in there. A-Rod has some jumps to make, but he could. So I think we'll see few guys get in there.
I'm pretty sure Scott Rolen has the lowest percentage when he appeared on the ballot for the first time as compared to when he got into the Hall of Fame. Like, he started at the lowest percentage of anybody who was eventually voted into the Hall of Fame, which is really cool. So,
well, I think in, 2018, he had, 12%.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he had 12.9% in 2018, which is what Jimmy Rollins has now. And over the last 6 years, he's just made incredible jumps, and he's made it. So anything could happen,
Totally.
As long as those guys who really think he should be in the Hall of Fame keep voting for him, that's really what matters. Okay. Because they could get momentum anytime they want. Or not anytime they want, but you know what I mean. Like, they can get momentum at any point is really what I was looking for.
In his first year on the ballot, back in 2018, he debuted with 10.2%.
Yeah, 10.2%. I knew it was a very low percentage.
And then he eventually got into the Hall of Fame. Take that as motivation, everybody. That's cool. That's cool.
Motivation with Lewis.
Motivation.
All right. Well, that's the Hall of Fame. Once again, congrats to everyone. Where do we want to go next? I mean, from here, it's where would you like to go, Lewis? We'll let you decide.
I mean, let's just start talking about all the signings that have happened over the past couple of days because it's picked up. It's really just picked up a lot. And let's just kick it off first with known fireballer, known lever of teams, known Aroldis Chapman goes to the Kansas City Royals on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Okay, I don't have anything to say about it, do you?
I mean, fresh start for Chapman. Maybe he can bounce back and actually start taking his pitching a lot more seriously than he has probably in the last couple of years. I mean, we've seen him in the last few years on the Yankees just not be good, and it feels like he's not taking it as serious as he could be. Obviously, with that was an ugly parting of ways with the Yankees. But he's coming to the Royals rather. A lot of moves being made by the Royals, which we'll get into. But a $3.75 million contract, I mean, for a guy like Aroldis Chapman, if you're the Royals, you might as well.
Yeah, take a flyer on him, especially after kind of tearing down your team over the past couple of years and some more moves that we'll talk about a little bit later. Might as well just try it out with him. I mean, worst comes to worst, so what? You, cut him halfway through the season, or you pay out his contract and get rid of it so you can have a younger guy come up and try to make the adjustments and improvements that he needs to prepare for, hopefully, a good rebuild coming up.
Good rebuild for the Royals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. You get what I'm getting at here?
I see where you're getting. Yeah, maybe if he can revitalize his career a little bit. He last season with the Yankees, just to give a little bit of stats. I mean, obviously he wasn't good. Pulling up his stats here right now. But like last year was abysmal. 4.46 ERA, 36 and a third innings pitched. Obviously that played a part, but like just the kind of personality wise, I mean, come on. You were injured for like a month because you got a tattoo and then you got ink poisoning. Kind of ridiculous.
Agreed.
But, you know, Royals take a waiver, see what happens. That's really all there is to it.
There's nothing more that I can get about it. I just think I think his time in the MLB is certainly numbered. It's disintegrating, actually. And, you know, I think that this is a move of him just clinging on to the professional career, which it makes sense. I mean, he was, at one point, for a very extended period of time, he was the best closer in baseball. There's no question about it. And to watch him fall off over the years firsthand as Yankee fans is both upsetting, but it's humbling because no one can be great forever in the game of baseball, that is.
Yeah, when you really think about it, his time as a Yankee he was more known for the bad. The Altuve home run, the Devers home run, the Jared Walsh home run. Gave up a lot of big time home runs, but
yeah, but he was solid.
He's gonna be pitching. He's gonna be pitching into not as bright lights, not as much pressure. Yeah. So we'll see. It's like he's in Cincinnati again.
Yeah, well, the Cincinnati were they competing during that time?
A little bit, not an over amount. Yeah, not an over amount, but they were competing.
Good luck, Ronald Acuna.
I believe he was on the Reds when Scott Rolen was on the Reds.
Good luck, Ronald Acuna. I'll see you June 21st.
Yeah. And speaking of the Royals made a couple other moves. I believe 2 other moves that we could talk about right now. 2 trades. First one being with the Minnesota Twins. They sent Michael A. Taylor, an outfielder, to the Twins in exchange for 2 minor league pitchers, Evan Sisk and Steven Cruz. What do you think, Lewis? What do you think this means for not only the Royals? Obviously, the Royals just getting 2 pitching prospects who we'll talk about in a minute, but for the Twins with getting another outfielder in Michael A. Taylor.
I think it's a great move to have a 4th outfielder, sort of like, you know, especially one like Michael A. Taylor that is more defense and speed rather than just power and can like has a powerful arm and stuff like that. I think it's a great move. Now, anyone who's saying that, they're going to trade Max Kepler, Byron Buxton might get moved soon, don't be an idiot. I think at the end of the day, this is just a move that bolsters their bench. Michael A. Taylor is obviously not going to start in that outfield as of right now, and I think moving forward, the plan is to have him be that guy in the 8th inning that can come in and pinch hit or pinch run. That guy in the 9th inning who you can throw out in center field when they have slap hitters, and you know that he's going to get to the ball and make a good play. You know, I think that's the way that I look at it if I'm on the Twins. As for the Royals, they're just selling. It makes sense. You know, they're unable to compete in the Central, and why waste these guys who you can get value for and hopefully profit off of long time?
I agree. I was looking at the stats of the 2 guys they got back. Steven Cruz seems to be more of a dump from the Twins' perspective. Lifetime 4 ERA, but the last 2 years he's had a 4.32 ERA, and then last year he had a 5.41 ERA, so not great. But then you look at the other guy they get back, Evan Sisk. Last year posted a 1.57 ERA in AA and AAA combined in 50 games as a reliever. That's pretty good. So I think I'm gonna say early that the Royals won this trade.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it because I think it could work out that way. And when you got a guy you're looking at this talent,
Wait.
based off last year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else. My apologies.
When you look at this kind of talent, just based off last year, because when you look past last year, 2021 a 3.91 ERA, which still isn't horrible, but it's not a 1.57 ERA, which he had in 2022. So I think it could look up for the Royals, and I'm going to say they did indeed win this trade.
Yeah, there's work to be done with the prospects, but you should expect that if you are gaining prospects in any trade. But yes, it definitely could work out for the Royals more long term. So good job, Royals.
Because the Twins just have just a lot of outfielders now.
Yeah, they do.
Michael A. Taylor now, Trevor Larnach, Joey Gallo, who they got this year, Buxton, obviously, Kepler. Do they have anyone else injured? Royce Lewis is an outfielder. Well, also an outfielder. Yeah, that's really it.
Oh wait, no, they don't. They have Correa again. Oh shit. No.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, he'll probably be coming off the bench piece. He was decent last year. He's projected to hit 236 this year, but that's projections. I remember in the beginning of last year he was pretty good. So I don't know. He's a good bench piece, I would say. He's a good fourth, fifth outfielder.
No, go kill it, Michael A. Taylor. Win 83 games and don't win the division.
Okay. Do we want to finish it with the Royals again? We'll go full Royals here. The Royals made another trade, this time with the Boston Red Sox. They sent shortstop Alberto Mondesi to the Red Sox in exchange for lefty reliever Josh Taylor and a player to be named later. Mondesi, another guy who they just kind of wanted to get him off the books. They didn't really need him on the team anymore. He did win the World Series with them in 2015, but last year barely played. 2021 barely played. 2020 he played every game. He just didn't play enough. He got injured a lot. When you got a guy who's he's played 50 games in the last 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. It's not good. And in those 2 seasons he batted 205 with a 600 OPS. 20 steals, but that's just not worth it.
However, if there is any time to buy in on a player that has the ceiling of a guy like Alberto Mondesi, it is right now after he's coming off 2 absolutely injury-riddled seasons. When from what the Red Sox were saying and what the Royals were saying before he got traded, he is fully healthy. He is baseball ready. Like, he's ready to go entirely. So, no time like the present, I guess, to buy in, because worst comes to worst is he would have started the season on the Royals, and what if he was batting .310, stealing a base every other game? The Royals would have been asking for a lot more than just a pitcher Josh Taylor, who does need a little bit of work. A lefty pitcher. He's 29 years old, still in the minor leagues. He had a 6 ERA last season. Not looking too hot. However, with these minor league guys, there's always work to be done.
Well, let's say he also only pitched 13 games last season.
Yeah, that's it.
Which 6 ERA is still really bad. But the only real full season that he pitched in was 2021, where in 61 games he had a 3.4 ERA. So, especially as a reliever, who he was testing out being a starter last season in the minors, but as a reliever, a 6.34 ERA is not terrible, especially because he only pitched 47 innings. I don't know. I think the Royals are doing another thing where they're just going similar to what they did last time. They're going out and getting a guy who can potentially be good, which, like how you said with Mondesi, could be good. Buy low.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think it's a very it's a sideways move. Like, it doesn't really mean anything for either team. In all honesty, that's how I feel about it.
All right, we're doing bite or spit right now.
Okay.
Just one.
Let's break
We'll do them periodically throughout the episodes now.
Okay.
I think this works better. Bite or spit. We're talking about Mondesi. Bite or spit him playing over 82 games next season.
I'll bite it.
Do you think he'll play?
I'll bite it. I think he's gonna be healthy and ready to go.
I'm gonna bite it too. I think he's gonna play over 82. If he doesn't, that's bad. That is bad.
Watch this. 142 games.
142 games for Mondesi?
142.
I don't want to put a number on it. I'm only not going to put a number on it because he's been injured so much the last 2 seasons.
Well,
I will bite him playing over 82. But I'm not going to put a specific number on it because he's been so injury-ridden and I don't want to jinx anything. So,
all right, well, I'll knock on wood then.
I'll knock on wood, but I'll bite him playing over 82 games.
Fair enough.
All right. So, that's it with the Royals. That's all the Royals really did. Where do we want to go next? Do we want it?
I mean, if we're hitting all the bottom of the barrel teams, we might as well just get this one out of the way.
Oh yeah, let's get it out of the way.
Jesus Aguilar signs a 1-year deal. I don't know the money off the top of my head.
I believe $3 million.
1 year, $3 million deal. Yes, $3 million deal with the Oakland Athletics.
Bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the barrel.
No one cares.
But the more important part about this is that days later, Elon Musk was seen wearing an Oakland Athletics jersey.
Yes.
Who was on the back of that jersey? Was it Jesus Aguilar? Are they like best friends?
Was it a Jesus Aguilar jersey?
I think it might have been.
I don't think it was. You know who my bet is?
Let's hear it.
JP Sears.
JP Sears, another great one.
I think it was a JP Sears jersey.
Or is it a throwback jersey? Is it like Matt Chapman?
Could be.
Matt
or did he mess up and did he wear a Cole Irvin jersey? Because he knew. That's another piece of information. Okay, well, another piece of information. In addition to getting Aguilar, the Athletics traded Cole Irvin, a starting pitcher, who is definitely a starting pitcher. He's played for them in the last 4 seasons. He's made 81 starts throughout his career. Well, he was on the Phillies for the first 2 years, but the last 2 years he's played for them, made 62 starts for them. Traded to the Orioles. Why are we making a timeout?
It was definitely a Chad Pinder jersey.
Chad Pinder?
It was definitely a Chad Pinder jersey.
It must have been.
He just like, it had to be.
I'm sticking my bet with JP Sears because I love JP Sears.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, so Cole Irving to the Orioles in exchange for Cole Irving and Kyle Verbitsky, who was another right-handed pitcher. Cole Irving is a lefty. For minor league prospect Daniel Hernandez. Daryl Hernandez. I'm not 100% if I'm saying that last name right. I hope I am. But he is a infield prospect from the Orioles. Who makes sense that they're trading him. They don't really need that many infield prospects.
True.
Like, they already have a lot of good infield prospects. He's only 21. Last season, throughout Single A and Double A, he batted .273 with a .779 OPS. So, I guess we'll see what kind of guy the A's are getting in there. And then as for Cole Irvin and Kyle Verbitsky, I cannot say I'm familiar with Kyle Verbitsky. Can you?
Neither can I. I think that I think all I can say is good luck with your careers, Cole Irving. Let's go
Orioles.
Let's go Orioles. Let's go O's.
Point to Adley. That man will be catching Cole Irvin next season. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Cole Irvin last season had a 4 ERA. 181 innings pitched. So he can pitch. He'll be in the rotation all year.
You know what those numbers sound like to me?
What?
They sound like the 2023 Cy Young Award is going to end up in Baltimore in the hands
of Grayson Rodriguez.
Of Cole Irvin.
So the Orioles rotation now looks like Kyle Gibson, Cole Irvin is probably going to be either their 2-starter or their 3-starter, somewhere around there. Kyle Gibson, Cole Irvin, Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, Tyler Wells, and then a potential Grayson Rodriguez call-up at some point in the season. I think that's actually why they brought in Cole Irvin, because they don't want Grayson Rodriguez in the rotation come opening day. I think they want to call him up when they feel he's ready in maybe the middle of the season or a couple months into the season. But yeah, I think that's why they went out and got Cole Irvin.
All right.
They needed more pitch. Their pitching is still the weaker part of their team, I'd say. Their bullpen's pretty good, but I'd say their starting pitching is the weaker part. They went out and get Cole Irvin, and he pitched in Oakland a lot, which having a 4 ERA while pitching in Oakland, which is one of the most pitcher-friendly ballparks, could be a bad sign. But
Absolutely.
they needed someone, and I feel like that's probably what the best they thought they were going to get. So
It's true.
good for the Orioles.
It's true. Yeah.
Orioles go out and get someone.
Yeah. They do something which. Honestly, are we happy with it? Are we okay with it? I don't know. The Orioles were kind of brewing up something good, especially with having 2 players in the top 10. I don't know. Just, how about we say this? Let's go O's.
Let's go O's.
Let's go O's.
Hold up the O. Hold up the O.
Hold up the O.
Let's go O's.
Let's go O's.
That's awesome. I like that now. I'm going to do this now when I'm rooting for the Orioles. Do we want to get to the last kind of signing we have?
Yeah, let's take care of it.
Jeffrey Springs re-signed or bought out by the Rays for...
He signed. He was not bought out.
Signed. They bought out 2 years of arbitration. They bought out a year of arbitration and then 3 years extended after the arbitration year. So they have him locked up till 2026, and if they choose to keep him for 2027, they'll be paying him $15 million that year. It's a team option. Jeffrey Springs been pretty good. I think it's a pretty good deal for them. Last season had a 2.46 ERA in 33 games. He started a lot of games. He was a sneaky good starter. 135 innings pitched. I like this for the Rays. Lock up a guy.
Pretty cool also, the Rays spending $31 million on one player. Usually we would see them spend that on maybe 41 players.
Yeah, really.
But honestly, good move for the Rays. Jeffrey Springs, he pitched really well last season, and I think that trend can continue of him pitching really well. So, good move. Just a good move, especially for the Rays who need pitching.
Yeah, just good overall.
Yep.
Not much else to say about it.
Should we clap it up for the Rays?
Let's clap it up for the Rays and Jeffrey Springs for getting his bag. Get your bag, Jeffrey Springs.
Attaboy.
It's his after this season. For this season, they bought out his arbitration. They did that last season, and now next off season, his arbitration would have already been bought out, and then so begins the extension of the contract.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Now the Rays bullpen. Is there much else to say? I mean, yeah, they got rid of Brooks Raley, but like.
Oh no.
I mean, oh no, yes, because he's a very good reliever. I will say that. But their team's looking good. Their team's looking good. That's all I have to say. No one in their bullpen is projected to get over a 4 ERA. There's a guy under 3. They're gonna have a good team this year, as they always do. I think their lineup is what actually might hold them down a little bit next year, which is not. It's just weird for the Rays. Usually they just have a sneaky good lineup, but I think it will hold them down a little bit next year.
I mean, they didn't play too well, but then again, they didn't have like what I would consider the motor of their team in Wander Franco for almost the whole season last year. So let's hope that he can get back on track and come back healthy and everything. Because it felt like, although he played 83 games, it just felt like he was never on the field. It was always like, oh, he'll play the first 5 innings and then get like pinch hit for. It was always something. So let's hope that we just get a full 162 of Wander, because, I mean, he's the highest paid Ray in their history, and he's yet to play over 90 games. That's something. That's fair. Something.
That's fair. You know what? I have an idea.
Let's do it.
Bite or spit.
Bite or spit.
Bite or spit. Wander Franco playing over. Bite or spit. Wander Franco playing over 115 games next season.
I'll bite it.
I'm gonna bite it too. I don't think he gets injured.
I gotta hope for Wander. I like him a lot. I think he's gonna be a great player, and he needs to just play more to prove to everybody that he is a great player.
This is absolutely bogus. I'm gonna give you 3 more bite or spits on Wander, and all
Where
of them.
Where are you getting these from?
These are based on his Fangraphs projected stats for next season.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 3 biter spits. First of all, they expect him to have 623 plate appearances. Okay. Biter spit, Wander Franco over 15 home runs.
Over.
Bite. So you bite.
Oh, yeah, bite.
Bite Wander Franco. That's 1 time. Or I guess that's 2 times, technically.
Chomping on him.
Chomping that man. Biter spit, Wander Franco having over 10 stolen bases. Bite.
Spit. The Rays don't play like that as much
I'm biting
anymore.
it. I am biting it till it there's nothing left.
Till you draw blood. Jesus.
Bite or spit, Wander Franco batting over 286 next season.
Spit, like 280. 280. I think it's just going to be a little bit lower than that.
I'm biting
What do you think?
Well, Adley's a little biased in this decision. I mean, he is in the same division as Wander.
True.
What did he bat? What's his 162 game average throughout his career is 282. I don't know. I'm gonna go over. I'm high on Wander, so I'm knomping away at knomping. Is knomping a word?
That's definitely not a word.
Knomping? Can we get a fact check? Knomping. Is knomping?
How the hell do you spell it?
Nomping a word? Is knomping a word? Knomping in the Urban Dictionary. Letting a fat man eat pizza off your back. Okay, I'm not going to say that because I don't know what it means. To bite ferociously. I'm knomping on him. I'm knomping on Wander.
Okay. Not an official source, by the way.
Not an official statement. That is off the record, but I am biting on Wander. I'm knomping on him.
All right. Anyways.
We have one more thing to talk about, and it's a kind of a controversial topic.
Okay.
Ronald Acuna Jr. is having the time of his life down in Venezuela.
Who isn't?
If I was Ronald Acuna Jr. doing what he's doing in Venezuela, I would be having the time of my life right now.
As well.
Ronald Acuna Jr. Yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago by now, hit a home run in the Venezuelan Winter Baseball League in the bottom of the fourth inning. I believe his team was down, and I think it might be a playoff series, and his team's down in the series anyway. Something like that. But he hits a home run. And he proceeds to bat flip, celebrate. He celebrated his entire way around the bases. He pulled out every celebration in the book, everything in his repertoire.
As he should.
He did everything. As he should. It seems like a lot of people are getting mad about it. Not necessarily... I've seen a lot of people, obviously, the old heads who just get mad no matter what. If someone celebrates, like if Josh Donaldson bat flips a home run when he actually hits one, like not bat flips a single, when he bat flips a home run, they'll get mad at that. When Tim Anderson bat flips a home run, they'll get mad at that. That is ridiculous, and there are the old heads getting mad at that. But there's also people who don't usually get mad at that who are getting mad at it because he celebrated the entire way, and they're saying it's too much.
No, I think down in leagues that are, from like different countries and stuff like that are not at the same caliber as the MLB level, I think that it adds even more to the game. Like you see it all the time in other sports, especially around the world, one being soccer, where celebrations galore after a goal. And I think that makes the game a lot more fun. It adds more eyes to it because, if I'm watching some guy run 270 plus feet celebrating because he had a home run, I'm gonna watch. I want to know why. Like, I want to know what other players get that excited. I think it's just great, and celebrate all you want. If you hit a fucking home run, you can celebrate, and it's that simple.
I agree. Ronald Acuna Jr. On the off chance you're seeing this, Ronald Acuna Jr. Keep bat flipping, keep celebrating, do whatever you want when you hit a home run. Because you know what? I bet you 99.9% of the people that are criticizing you doing that are people who can't hit a home run themselves. People who cannot put themselves in the position that you're in. People that don't know what it feels like to do something like that, how electric it might feel. So Ronald Acuna Jr., keep celebrating, do what you want. Do it how you want. Do it when you want. Do it for how long you want. Ronald Acuna Jr., you're awesome. Just keep doing it. And don't listen to anyone, which I'm like 10,000% sure he's not listening to anyone, which is as it should be.
I think that he's listening to it. I if one guy in all of baseball history has a celebration coach, it's gotta be Acuna. Right?
Celebration if you told me like, hey, someone in baseball has a celebration coach, it'd be like
probably
Ronald Acuna.
Yeah, it's Acuna. It's not a B.
Yeah, no, he pulled out he literally just was flipping through pages of his book.
I loved it.
Every single thing he could think of, he did.
And
he
you know
did
what?
The LeBron
as
James.
he should.
Oh, I agree.
As
you should, Ronnie. As you should. I'm hoping he brings that to MLB because.
Well, I don't know. On the MLB stage, I think it's a little bit different because of like everything. Because you're not playing in your own country, you're not all that type of thing. I think that adds a little bit to it. I do think that he will celebrate, but like watching him celebrate going from first to second and second to third, a little like that would be over the top in MLB. Whereas in this league, it makes it just a lot more fun.
Let me reiterate. I want him to bring it to MLB, but I don't get it twisted. By no means do I want him to do this every single time he hits a home run. No, absolutely not. You can bat flip every time you hit a home run.
Oh, of
but
course.
Don't take it all the way around the bat. I see when you right after you hit it, bat flip. Maybe watch it for a couple seconds. Take your run around the bases. You could do your little stutter step at third or whatever the hell you want with the third base coach. No one cares. And then, you do your thing at home plate, whether it's the Jazz Euro step or, you do your thing. You don't take it going around second base. Oh, no.
Don't do the Josh Naylor.
No.
Basically, don't do what Josh Naylor did in the postseason.
But then again, Josh Naylor, it was a postseason game, big-time home run. Like
that's what I was just about to say.
It's fair.
If Acuna hits a big-time home run, though, like if we're talking down one in like the 8th inning of like a divisional game or whatever, like down the stretch, trying to get to the postseason and stuff, and you hit like a 2-run bomb in the other stadium, in the opposing team stadium, go fucking nuts. That's no holds bar. But don't do it every time.
Yeah, aside from a walk-off, I couldn't see him doing it in the middle of a game until you get down the stretch to like pennant races and division races.
Yeah.
So
certainly.
We'll see what Acuna does, but Ronnie, you do you. At the end of the day, he's going to do him, and he should. So
yeah,
I would agree. I mean, there's a lot of people that are just really, really mad about this and really pressed.
And you know what I have to say to people who really are upset about this? Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Wow. Oh my God. Can we put that in? That's kind of wild.
No. Baseball is fun. Let the kids play. It's that simple.
I apologize for Lewis's vulgar language and
I don't.
and being mean. Oh my goodness. I was going to say to the people who hate this and hate Acuna for just this reason, don't watch.
That too.
He hit. You see the ball come off the bat. You see it's going to be a homer. Turn around for a minute.
Like, what are you going to do? Watch the paint dry.
Don't.
Just look at Adley.
Stare at Adley. I mean, that beautiful face. Just stare. Give him a kiss.
That's weird.
Boo. Just stare at Adley. Just look away. It's really not that hard. Let the kid do his thing. He's a Major League Baseball player. He's not only is he underpaid, but he's a very good baseball player.
Yeah,
which
true.
I've also seen people since being like, this kid is not a good baseball player. He's had one good season. Let's not keep hyping him up. Which I think is BS. He's played one full season in MLB. Obviously, he was injured for about a fourth of last year. And before that, he was injured for half the season the year before. In his one full season, he hit 41 homers and had 37 steals. So we're returning to bite or spit really quick. Bite or spit, Acuna having a 30-30 season.
But
I'm biting it too.
No questions.
I mean, come on, guys.
No questions.
He's Ronald Acuna Jr. Yes, he had a not great year last year in the 119 games he played. He only batted .266, 15 homers, but 30 steals. He was coming off an ACL injury.
Yeah.
Let the man do his thing.
And he really, they ramped him up a little bit quicker than he needed to be, just because they wanted to get him back on the field. So now that he's had a whole offseason and we're watching him fully healthy play in these other leagues, I think he'll be fine. Acuna, the 2019 Acuna, I think is on the horizon, and I think he's coming around this season.
I hope he does. I love watching Acuna.
Yeah.
He's going to be an absolute beast. It's going to be fun to watch.
Agreed.
Now that is taken care of, I got that off my chest. I just needed to. Oh, wait, no, we're not done with this. I have to read a couple comments here.
Don't bother.
No. I won't say names, and I'll read some good ones too. So we'll start with a couple comments here. This is from a video about Ronald Acuna Jr. hitting that home run. I don't like him because I'm a Mets fan. Fair.
Okay.
Did it against the Mets. Exact reason I hate him.
Crimea River.
Fair. Crimea River, yes. We got Y'all So Soft, LOL, celebrating part of the game.
True.
Fair. Nah, I ain't about that. I'm cool with some coming out of the... Nah, I ain't about that. I'm cool with something coming out of the box and at home plate. Fair. He's not going to do it every home run, though, so that's not something you have to worry about. I want to get to good ones. Dog, it was like the 4th inning when he did this, and he did it all around the bases. He needs to chill a bit.
No.
All right, well, let's get one more in here.
This is good podcasting.
So true. People need to stop hating on Acuna, bro. He got the energy baseball needs, and people are coming at him for that.
True.
So, a lot of mixed emotions. There were a lot of more negative comments that I chose not to read. I was reading a lot more of the positive ones, but a lot of the negative comments were just like, yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, Acuna's cool. It's fun. Baseball's fun. Let's move on.
Yeah, I agree. Now, moving on to our final segment of the podcast, we have Lewis's Rumor Mill. This is the segment where Lewis tells us the rumors from the week, what's going on around baseball, who's going where, just rumors. It's kind of self-explanatory. He's going to tell us some rumors.
Just
Lewis,
the rumor mill.
The floor is yours.
So let's start off with one thing that I found interesting, one thing that really no one had a gauge on until just recently. There was an article published, I forget where, it was one of the major news articles though. The New York Yankees actually made a strong push and almost had a deal to trade for Shohei Ohtani at last year's trade deadline.
Interesting.
Now, that package would have dwarfed, it would have made the Soto package look like a dwarf. Like it would have been insanely big, which makes you wonder, were the Yankees actually willing to part ways with their top 5 prospects? Were they willing to get rid of Gleyber Torres and other pieces at the major league level? No one really knows. Nothing has come out about it when it comes to the package. But still interesting to think that the Yankees were the front runner basically to land Ohtani if he were to be dealt last season.
I want to say for the Angels, that's a hard thing to deny, especially when you're not guaranteed another year of Ohtani after this, and they did not go all in to support him this year. It's hard for the Angels to deny something like that. I know he's Shohei Ohtani.
Well, they signed Tyler Anderson. They got Hunter Renfroe. I don't know. I think the team can be good.
They did not go all in for him.
Right, but
they would have, if they wanted to go all in, they would have got Bogarts. They would have signed a lot more and better guys had they wanted to go all in.
I guess. But I don't think that they didn't make any improvements.
I think they made improvements, but it's not nearly enough. It's not nearly. I would not call it supporting. I don't think they're gonna contend with the Astros.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Unless Mike Trout also figures out how to pitch and hit.
Yeah, exactly. That also poses. Would the Yankees have taken down the Astros should they have had Shohei Ohtani?
No.
I don't think they even would have taken down the Astros. I don't think that trade would have been worth it for the Yankees in the long run.
No,
because I don't think they're gonna. The Yankees aren't gonna sign him next season.
No.
I mean, it would help them out for this season, but they still have Josh Donaldson playing third base. I mean, what help is that going to be for them? No. They're still going to get swept by the Astros in the ALCS. It's like the 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, the Astros sweeping the Yankees in the ALCS. Yeah. If not sweeping, the Astros beating the Yankees in the ALCS.
That's simple.
All
right.
But yeah.
Well, next thing, Houston finally gets a general manager. Dana Brown, congratulations. Long-time guy who's been around baseball, really cool. He was part of the Braves scouting department that signed and acquired most of their really good talent at the major league level, one of them being Vaughn Grisham, who I think is still the one who needs to prove himself. But everybody else is very proven, has gotten contracts and everything like that, so that's pretty cool. Moving right along here, I'm going reverse chronological, by the way.
Go for it.
All right. Yesterday, Ken Giles, relief pitcher, World Series champion, threw a bullpen for an undisclosed amount of teams yesterday, where he seemed to look good. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I think he's taken about 2 years off, maybe a year and a half, due to injury and Tommy John surgery. I think he needed a long time to recover from it. But certainly an interesting one.
Ken Giles played this year, pitched five games for the Mariners, 4.1 innings.
Nothing
crazy.
Nothing crazy. So I'll still consider it like 2 years off.
No, I got that.
Anyways,
and that was towards the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Next, the Chicago White Sox, funny enough, have shown interest in trading for Nicky Lopez from the Royals. However, the Royals don't want to give up Nicky Lopez when they're tearing it down. Little weird.
That is a little weird.
But also, what do the White Sox have to offer? Like, their organization on both the major league level and in prospect capital are both kind of low right now. So maybe the Royals just don't think that the White Sox have anything of value?
Maybe. I'm trying to check how many years he has left on his contract. And if I remember correctly, Nicky Lopez, I mean, the trade value, he has 3 more years left. The trade value is not crazy. It's not through the roof.
No.
I mean, he did bat 300 in 2021, but 227 last year. I mean, his trade value is not through the roof. So I don't think the White Sox, like, they're not going to have to give up, like, top prospects for him.
Yeah.
But it is weird that the Royals, maybe the Royals think their soft rebuild is going to be ready within the next 3-4 years, or they're going to lock him up for more years. Well, I don't know what the Royals are thinking.
I think that it's simple that the White Sox just don't have the prospect capital that the Royals want for him. I think it's that simple because at his peak, he can be a 300 hitter and play really good defense almost anywhere in the infield. Where, you know, this season they could just say it's going to be an outlier. It's like whatever, you know, he took 1 step back to go 2 steps forward, type of thing. Which I would not be opposed to. Nicky Lopez, go do your thing, pretty cool.
Don't they have, who is their second baseman right now? Oh, I guess they really don't have one. Oh yeah, because they traded what's his name?
That guy to the.
They traded Madrigal to the Cubs.
Oh, they traded Nick Madrigal
a couple years ago. Yeah, he was going to be their second baseman of the future. Okay, yeah, right. Fair.
Next up, we got a little bit of a story, a little bit of a journey, if you will. The Miami Marlins, the boys down south, our beloved boys down south, were interested in signing Yuri Gurriel to the point where Yuli, sorry, to the point where he had been staying in Miami for about 2 weeks. Going to lunches, dinners, going around the stadium with their general manager, I believe. What's her name? Kim Eng. Yeah.
Kim Eng.
My apologies. But they were spending a lot of time together, negotiating contract stuff, but also Gurriel was getting a tour of everything around Miami and around the stadium and stuff. Just then a couple days ago, the Miami Marlins kind of backtracked and said that they were not really too interested in signing with him. So what did Gurriel do? The only logical thing that a former Astro would do. Go back to talking with the Astros and open up conversations with the Minnesota Twins. He's going to end up in one of the 3 places. I don't think the Marlins are interested in him anymore. However, I do think he might end up back with the Astros in all honesty. I think he'll take some low contract just because he is getting up there in age. He can't really hit anymore. He's 30. He's going to be 39 years old when the season starts. No, maybe he'll be close to 39 when the season starts and turn 39 during the season. He's just not the same player that he was when he debuted in 2016.
Hold on. Did you say he's going to wind back up with the Astros?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think with Jose Abreu?
No,
he sits on the bench.
Yeah, I don't think they want that. I don't think they want just a guy sitting on the bench who they don't want.
I don't know. I would not be surprised if he just wound up back with the Astros. That just seems like something that would happen.
I think he'll probably wind up with the Marlins.
We'll see.
What else you got?
We'll see. Just going through my stuff here. Oh, the Los Angeles Angels, which were put up for sale close to halfway around the season, like right before the trade deadline, they were posted for sale. Sadly, Normal Baseball's bid was not enough. The owner, forget his name.
It's Art
Moreno. He decided to now take the team out of the market. It is no longer up for sale. Guys, sorry, the Los Angeles Normal Baseball was not coming.
I want to talk more about this. and what exactly it means for the Angels. I mean, it's kind of like you're in a really weird position now because your owner just tried to sell your team, and now he's like, never mind. Because apparently there was a lot of people willing to take it. He had a lot of people. He had people that were bidding anywhere from
$3 billion
$2.5 to plus $3 billion. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, and I know a few Angels fans who are not happy at all because with the past however many years, I mean, you're shrugging, but how has Art proved to this fan base that he wants a winning team? Yes, you re-sign Mike. Yes, you sign Mike Trout, big contract. Yes, you sign Anthony Rendon, big contract. But that's not running it correctly, and they haven't won. They've made the playoffs once in Mike Trout's entire career. He's played one playoff series.
Yeah, but
what are you doing?
At the same time, baseball is such a volatile sport. Like if every player on the Angels played to their capability for a full season, then we would be talking about them being like maybe the first or second wild card. It's just that it always seems that everything falls off the rails for the Angels. Last year, I mean, firing their coach, going on like a 20-something game losing streak. It just always seems like something goes wrong for them. Sadly, like it happens to them over and over again, which means that there's something that's going wrong. But I can't figure it out because the team should be good on paper.
Can't figure it out. They don't have pitchers. That's been their issue for the last however many years. Structure of their team. They have no structure. I mean, they have Rendon, how many games has he played for the Angels total? Not a lot
I don't think
at
he's
all.
played a full season.
He's not played a lot of games. He has not played a lot of games. No matter what it is, it's not a lot. I can tell you that right off the rip. You got Mike Trout, who best player in baseball when healthy, hasn't been able to stay healthy. When he can stay healthy, even with him and Shohei Ohtani, it's not even guaranteed that they're going to make a wild card spot because the guys surrounding them aren't enough. Two people in baseball can't carry a team to a World Series, and apparently not even to a playoff. Pitching has been their problem for so long. We know they're trying to work on it. Obviously, they get Tyler Anderson this season.
They draft every pitcher known.
They drafted a bunch of pitchers 2 years ago. Yes, they know what they are doing wrong, but
they can't fix
now.
it.
And now you're in this limbo spot of Shohei Ohtani is a free agent next season, and you have a guy like Art who Angels fans don't know if they're going to get Shohei Ohtani back. And from the Angels fans I know, they are not confident they are getting Shohei Ohtani back.
I don't think anybody should be. I think that Shohei is a rare exception to the rule of, like, players should stay with their team. Because, I mean, this guy could be at bare minimum, $70 million a year.
Oh, yeah.
It's just absurd how good he is. Like, if it were anybody else on the roster, Mike Trout, I mean, during the beginning of the season, 2023 World Series MVP Brandon Marsh on the team, Jared Walsh, Max Stassi, all those guys, like, it makes sense to say, just stay with your team. Like, there's something happening, it might as well. They'll give you money and you'll live a comfortable life in SoCal. What's not to like about that? But Shohei Ohtani, I mean, I think he's the rare exception that even if the Dodgers had him, even if the Yankees had him, the Mets had him, you know, anybody, the Angels, not the Angels, the Braves had him. I think it just doesn't matter. I think that no matter what, Ohtani is going to hit free agency, no matter what you try to do.
Yeah, he's obviously going to test it.
Yeah. What's not to test? Like, you have to test it.
Overall, I think Art deciding not to sell the Angels was terrible for Angels fans. It's going to be terrible for Angels fans. I think selling the team was the right move.
Who do you think put in bids?
I couldn't even begin to guess. Disney. I don't know. I don't think it was the right move. But you know what? Art, prove us wrong, and if you prove us wrong, I'll stand here and I'll say, hey, Art, you proved us wrong. You did it. You're a good team now. You showed us that you want to win. You showed us that you can win. But like, for now, I'm saying I think he should have sold the team.
Okay. I think definitely think that he needs to do. He needs a lot of work. He has a lot of stuff to do. You know.
Yep. Did you have anything else in the rumor mill? Because if not, I wanted to touch a little more on another thing you mentioned. You got anything else in there?
Just looking. Oh, last thing here. The MLB has finally started like a legitimate process that I think is super beneficial. They are now doing call-ups and call-downs with MLB level umpires, not just right now before the season starts, but also during the season. They will be exploring the idea of calling up and sending down major league umpires. Obviously, there's the umpires are unionized, so there's going to be a lot of like, oh, this guy's had 10 plus years in the majors, you can't send him down, that type of stuff. But I think that's good. That's good because umpires, especially after they call really bad games or make really bad decisions, I think sending them down is a great way to show them like get better. Just as the same with baseball players.
Yeah, no, I like it. I certainly think it'll be interesting, I guess. I haven't really heard much about that. I guess it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be
Why
cool.
not? We'll see.
It's gonna be really funny
bad game? Send them down.
It'll be really funny to see the posts that people make of like Angel Hernandez designated for assignment.
Yeah.
But sadly that won't happen because he's called plenty of games. But the newer umpires, they just called up 10 umpires that will be calling major league games during the 2023 season, and that could expand or it could go down. So good for you, MLB. Good job.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to touch up on, just talk a little bit more about the Astros naming Dana Brown their new general manager. Obviously, they parted ways with their old GM after winning a World Series, which is not something you see too often. But Dana Brown, I think this was a very good move for the Astros, pivoting for the GM. He was the former vice president of scouting for the Braves. I believe that's what the position was called. He played a big part in getting guys like Spencer Strider, Michael Harris, Acuna, all of those guys. He played a big part in getting a lot of the Braves' young talent that they have now. So I think this is a really, really good move for the Astros. I think it's a perfect fit. So I just want to say they did very good. Yeah. According to what I've seen, is that Dana Brown is heavy on analytics,
which makes sense.
He's great at evaluating talent. Good at evaluating player development. He's just an all-around really good front office guy. So I think it's a really good move for the Astros. Yeah. And for the soon-to-be back-to-back World Series champion Astros.
That's a statement.
I'm revealing my I'm just doing a little teaser of my 2023 World Series predictions.
Okay. Okay.
It's hard to argue they're not.
We'll see.
That's the right way to put it.
I can argue anything.
That's the right way to put it, is we'll see. But yeah, I mean, is that all we got?
I think that's all we got.
That's all we got for this episode. We thank you guys for listening, viewing, subscribing. If you're still listening, thank you. Lewis would also like to thank you. Thank you guys for watching, all that, viewing, sharing, subscribing. If you enjoyed, follow the podcast. Just share with your friends. Do all that fun jazz. Jazz Chisholm. Love Jazz Chisholm. Jazz. Oh, I'm wearing the shirt right now. I forgot about that. Love Jazz Chisholm.
I'm wearing a Marlins shirt as well. Got to ride with the boys down south.
Big Marlins, guys. Point to the Marlins shelf. The Marlins shelf. All right. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.